Wrong Turn 2, Dead End is a horror film released in 2007, directed by Joe Lynch. The movie is a sequel to the original Wrong Turn and takes the terrifying premise to new heights. Let's dive into the plot for a brief summary. The story begins with a reality TV show called The Ultimate Survivalist, hosted by a former Marine named Dale Murphy, played by Henry Rollins. Contestants are dropped into the West Virginia wilderness to compete in challenges that test their survival skills. Among the contestants are a diverse group of individuals, including a former Marine, a survivalist expert, a goth girl, and others. As the competition progresses, the contestants encounter signs of danger in the forest, including dismembered bodies and warning messages. It becomes evident that they are not alone in the woods, and they soon realize they are being hunted by a family of mutant cannibals. The mutants, known as the hillbilly cannibals, are grotesque and savage, living in the wilderness and preying on unsuspecting victims who venture into their territory. Led by Three Finger, as the contestants fight for survival, tensions rise, alliances are formed and broken, and gruesome deaths occur as the mutants pick off their prey one by one. Dale Murphy, the host of the show, proves to be a resourceful and capable leader as he tries to guide the contestants to safety. Tooth and One Eye, the mutants are relentless in their pursuit of the contestants. In a final showdown, the survivors confront the mutants in a desperate bid to escape the deadly game they've been thrust into. The climax is intense and bloody, with unexpected twists and shocking revelations. Ultimately, Wrong Turn 2, Dead End, is a thrilling and gory horror film that delivers plenty of scares and suspense. It's a worthy sequel that expands on the original's premise while upping the ante with more action, more gore, and more terrifying mutants. Wrong Turn 2 is the story of a bunch of teens, of course, who enter a survival contest in the woods to try to win a ton of money. They have to pair off and find food, shelter, and just simply survive. Seems easy enough, right? But what no one took into account is that it's set in the woods where all those hillbilly cannibals from the first film live, and boy do they live. They have bread, got kids, live in an old paper mill, they kill people and eat their bodies. There's a bunch of them basically having a grand old time and throwing body shop parties or something like that. Good for them. Anyway, the teens quickly get picked off one by one, and it's up to the host of the show, Henry Rollins, actual dreamboat, who comes to save the day because he was once in the army, and he has big ripped arms the size of dustbins, and I love him. Anyway, they fight the hillbillies. Some die, some don't. There is an ominous final shot, alluding to the idea that the hillbillies are still alive. Blah blah. The end. We all go home. Wrong Turn 2, Dead End sees the destruction of almost the entire cannibal clan by its conclusion. A group of reality TV show contestants end up in the same woods as the first movie, serving as a direct sequel to the original. Three Finger is the primary antagonist here, but other members of his family, Ma, Pa, brother, and sister, are also introduced in this installment. One of the mutants is pregnant and ends up giving birth to a baby, Three Toes, before getting killed by the contestants in the end of the movie. Wrong Turn 2 also connects the dots about Maynard's role as their father by explaining about the paper mill and the mutant's origin before he is blown up by dynamite and killed. By the film's conclusion, Three Finger and Three Toes are the last of their clan to have survived, which leads into the third movie. It's Henry Rollins' turn to face off against the inbred cannibal hillbillies in Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. It's a good job he's here too, because otherwise there wouldn't be much to recommend beyond the old favorites of random deaths and equally random female nudity. If any other modern horror franchise said teen male audience more than the Wrong Turn films, then I'd be very surprised. Overall, there's a greater knowing nod and a wink to the audience this time round, upping the humor without skimping on the gore. The plot is an in-joke in itself. A group of reality TV hopefuls are all trying to prove they have what it takes to survive in an apocalypse situation. They quickly find themselves in genuine danger when they are targeted by a family of cannibal hillbillies. And thus, all the usual cliches are trotted out in what is already a very familiar routine. You should know what to expect then. Any pleasure of the flesh is met by death, as is general stupidity and arguing amongst one another. We wouldn't have a film if the characters didn't run through the usual process of ignorance and lack of judgment, but it would be nice now and again for that to be broken, have the characters break away from the usual cliches, but still find themselves with nowhere to go. I may be asking too much, or overcomplicating the subject. Their improvements over the first film is that the various characters get a small amount of time to establish their personality before the bodies start dropping en masse. There's more fun to be had in the show within a film format, more so when the characters think the cannibals are part of the apocalyptic setup. Here's a thought for you. They're not. Additionally, more time is spent on the inbred cannibals, establishing more of their family structure, their particular perversions, and how they represent a dark mirror image of the traditional American family structure. It's almost as if the film is saying that is what the family unit would look like if all the rules of society were thrown out of the window. Their role is dark, unhinged, and lacking in boundaries. Obviously, because they kill others with barely a thought, their own particularly sinister moral code at play. Suffice to say, it's not a pretty picture. Ultimately, this is Rollins' film. He dominates every scene he appears in and proves to be a uniquely entertaining diversion to the typical routine of youngsters being killed in a variety of gruesome ways. It's just disappointing that, despite his strong presence, there isn't much else to really boost the film into a more entertaining place. If you took him out of the picture completely, there would be no depth at all, no fun besides watching lots of people die. With that in mind, it is because he is here to mix things up that it's a step above almost every other film in the franchise bar the original. Sometimes that's all you need. Watch Wrong Turn Part 3 for Dead End. Thanks for watching.